So good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the Global Center for Pluralism. Je suis très heureux que vous soyez ici en grand nombre pour participer au deuxième forum du Centre mondial du pluralisme. My name is John McNee and I'm the Secretary General of the Global Center, a new organization founded by His Highness the Aga Khan in partnership with the Government of Canada. Inspired by the example of Canada, one of the world's most diverse and most successful pluralistic societies, the Center seeks to establish respect for diversity as a new global ethic. The Global Center for Pluralism will be located here in this magnificent building for the next few years, while our own headquarters, the former Canadian War Museum at 330 Sussex Drive, is brought to life. So on behalf of the Center and our host, Aga Khan Foundation of Canada, I'm very pleased to welcome you here today. Although rooted in Canada, the Global Center for Pluralism is an outward-looking organization with a global mandate to advance leadership for pluralism. Every society is diverse in its own way and has its own particular history. What works in Canada or India or South Africa, for example, may not translate in the Netherlands, Kenya, or Bhutan. Nonetheless, we are convinced that lessons learned in one context can be relevant in other countries. But leadership of government and civil society organizations and of catalytic individuals is needed to change hearts and minds as well as ingrained behaviors. The Center will work with pivotal individuals and institutions across the world to facilitate access to global learning about the policies and practices that support pluralism. We aim to do this in several ways: through knowledge exchange, including events like this one, which will be accessible online, through dialogue programs, and through global and local partnerships with proven and potential change leaders. Our programming is just beginning, and as we start this long journey, I'm absolutely delighted to see that the Center already has so many friends and supporters. Today we're hosting the Center's second Pluralism Forum, a new semi-annual series of moderated discussions with leading international authorities about the policies and practices that support respect for diversity. The first forum, which some of you attended, examined responses of European states to immigrant diversity and the challenges of multicultural inclusion in Western democracies. Today, for our second forum, we are shifting gears and shifting continents. This time, we're examining the issue of pluralism breakdown, viewing it through the twin lens of intrastate conflict in Africa and African peace processes. What are the conditions and actions that propel some ethno-culturally diverse societies, but not others, into violent conflict? How can violent upheavals, either stemming from or blamed on diversity, be avoided? What can conflict mediation processes teach us about pluralism failure? We are extraordinarily fortunate to have as our keynote speaker one of the world's leading conflict mediators. Vasu Gounden, a lawyer by training, a peacemaker by vocation, is the founder and executive director of the African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, known as ACCORD. Founded in 1992 in South Africa as the apartheid regime was ending, this year ACCORD celebrates its 20th anniversary. It has supported peace initiatives in 31 countries and trained over 20,000 people in conflict resolution skills, an impressive record of achievement. ACCORD has worked, just to cite a few examples, in Sierra Leone, Angola, Mozambique, Liberia, Nigeria, the Republic of Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Ethiopia, Uganda, Burundi, and of course, where it started, South Africa. We are also very fortunate in our two other panelists, Professors Rita Abrahamson and David Prochasek of the University of Ottawa. Originally from Norway, where she trained as a journalist, Dr. Abrahamson teaches in the Graduate School of Public and International Affairs. She's the joint editor of African Affairs, the highest-ranked journal in African studies. Her most recent book is Security Beyond the State, Private Security, International Politics. David Petrasek, Acting Director of the University Center for International Policy Studies, specializes in human rights, humanitarian, and conflict resolution issues. He's also an accomplished practitioner who has worked for Amnesty International, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, the International Council on Human Rights Policy, and the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. The session today will unfold in three parts. Vasu, as keynote speaker, will begin. David will then lead a discussion with Vasu and Rita, and finally David will invite the audience to join the dialogue. Mark and Purvi, two of our staff, will circulate with microphones. And we've also placed a blank note card on every chair. If you prefer to jot down your question, please do so, and we'll try to get through as many questions as we can in the time available. So before handing the floor to Vasu, I should also say that he has promised us a very small movie towards the end of the session. So it isn't just talk this afternoon, we get more than that. So, on that note, un très grand bienvenue à vous tous. Nous sommes enchantés par votre présence, and I'd like to welcome Vasu Gounden and invite him to take the floor. Vasu.